Have you ever felt lonely in the middle of a crowd? Like you're surrounded by people and activity, yet something inside feels disconnected or incomplete. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? We live in a world that's constantly moving, where busyness is worn like a badge of honor. But here's the truth. Being surrounded by noise doesn't always mean connection, and being alone doesn't have to mean loneliness. I recently hiked a trail in Griffith Park just before sunrise, and the quiet solitude I experienced there reminded me of the power of stepping away from the noise and reconnecting with myself. Today, I want to share what that taught me about finding freedom, grounding, and clarity in solitude. We've been conditioned to think that more is always better. More relationships, more conversations, more distractions to fill our time. But in that constant pursuit, we can lose something important, the ability just to be. When was the last time you sat alone without a phone, a TV, or a to-do list demanding your attention? Solitude often gets misunderstood. People see it as lonely, boring, or even a sign of failure. But solitude isn't about being alone because no one else is there. It's about choosing to be alone to reconnect with yourself. It's the difference between feeling lost in a crowd and feeling grounded in your own company. When we allow ourselves moments of quiet, we create space for something remarkable: freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others, freedom from the constant need to perform, and freedom to simply breathe and exist as we are. On that Griffith Park hike, as I stood looking out over the city with the first light spilling across the skyline, I felt a wave of peace. I realized that in solitude, we're not escaping the world, we're resetting so we can return to it with a stronger, clearer sense of who we are. When you step into solitude, you begin to notice things you might have missed before. You start to hear your own voice, the one that gets drowned out by the opinions of others. You start to see your own desires, not the ones shaped by social media or societal pressure. And most importantly, you start to feel a sense of grounding, a connection to yourself that no external source can provide. Solitude also gives you freedom from the performance of life. Think about how often we adapt ourselves to fit in, to meet expectations or avoid judgment. In solitude, there's no one to impress, no one to compete with. It's just you, and that's enough. The quiet of the trail reminded me that sometimes it's in stepping away from others that we truly step closer to ourselves. The steady rhythm of my boots on the dirt, the stillness of early morning, and the absence of distractions created a mental clarity I didn't even know I needed. So how do you begin to embrace solitude, especially in a world that never stops moving? First, redefine what solitude means. It's not about isolation or cutting yourself off from others. It's about creating intentional time to focus on yourself. Think of solitude as a gift you give yourself, a moment to recharge and reconnect. Secondly, start with small moments. You don't need to book a weekend retreat or hike for miles to experience solitude. Start small. Sit in a quiet room with your coffee in the morning. Take a short walk without your phone. These little pockets of time can be transformative. Third, get comfortable with discomfort. The silence can feel strange at first, but that's where growth happens. Journaling is a great tool to help you navigate this. Write down your thoughts and let them flow freely. Over time, you'll notice patterns, gain clarity, and feel more at ease with your own company. And lastly, use solitude as a reset. When life feels overwhelming, solitude can act as a mental detox, Step away from the chaos, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to just be. You'll be surprised at how much clarity and calm it brings. Embracing solitude can have a ripple effect on your entire life. It helps you reconnect with yourself, gain clarity, find freedom, and feel grounded. The world tells us that connection and business are the answers, but sometimes the thing we're really searching for can only be found in solitude. It's in those quiet moments that we reconnect with our true selves, gain perspective, and find a kind of grounding and freedom that no crowd or activity could ever give us. That morning hike through Griffith Park taught me that even in the middle of a bustling city, you can find moments of profound stillness. And in those moments, we remember who we really are. If this resonates with you, take a moment today to pause. Turn off the noise, find a quiet space, and just sit with yourself. It might feel unfamiliar at first, but I promise it's so worth it. Check out the next video on breaking free from constant distractions for more reflections from the trail about relationships, mental health, and living more fully. Take good care.